can we talk about the South Sea scheme? Because that's an unusual project.
Somehow I didn't see it before on your Instagram or on your blog, and so when you sent us the photos, I was like, wow.
Thanks. I guess mission accomplished. If that's the reaction.
Yeah,
the,
definitely.
it was an interesting project. The idea was the client's idea. Actually, he's one of those people that get really creative when it comes to planning a binding, and he often has interesting or challenging ideas, and he has a massive collection of marble paper, an amazing collection, and he had these marble papers from I can't recall his name, from a marbler. I think he's in Spain. Anyway, and a lot of them had those, swirls, but they were very, very intricate. These are amazing papers, and he envisioned one of them as as the as a stormy sea. And so he came to me and said, "What can we do with this? Can we make something out of it for this specific book pamphlet?" And it was really interesting getting to work on this, because it required a shift in how I approach marble paper. It's not a decorative paper anymore. It's part of the design in a very essential way, and that's one of the things I enjoy when you get to to reevaluate and reintroduce yourself to materials and stuff you already use. It's always fascinating to discover that there's more to this. Okay, it's been something I've been using for years, and there's more to explore. There are many more uses. Anyway, and so I had to incorporate it in the design to create a stormy sea out of this marble paper, and that was very challenging because it's a very fine marble paper. It has very, very thin strips. I don't think it's really visible in the photos, even though I tried my best to capture it. And I had to cut it in a way that wouldn't, put someone off. It wouldn't feel unnatural. It had to blend with the design, but it had to blend with the pattern of the marble paper, but it also had to work for the design. So I spent quite a few hours trying to see how I should cut it. And as I write at my blog, I felt like a stonecutter, like a lapidarist, which study a raw diamond for weeks and sometimes months to get the most out of it, to remove as little material as possible and bring out its beauty as much as possible. So that was an exciting thing with this project.
This piece of marble paper is pretty stunning, and its implementation is also stunning, but it sort of steals the attention from all other elements of the of this cover, which is good, I guess, because every time you look at it, you see some new details. So I love how you made this chain lightning bolts. I love the blind tooled sunken ships on the bottom. I love how the volume is created by the bubbles. Some of them are blind tools, and other are gold tooled. I'm impressed with the title because red human rights text is really falls out of the whole picture and makes you sort of stop and read it
Contemplate,
and
yeah.
other things. So it's lots of small things that create all this whole picture, and it's well, as you said earlier, you have to make a lot of discoveries with this project.
Exactly. There are a lot of things going on in this design, and it it comes back to what we discussed earlier, that I want the designs I make, or the bindings I make, to have to have layers in them, to have overlapping symbolisms. And you can take, for example, the ship. The ship is literal, but it's also figurative. It can be translated as as the very ship or ships they used. It can be translated as their business venture, which was fraud basically, and it sunk. And you can translate it as the the harm and the decline in ethics, because there was slave trade involved in all of this. And that's where the chain also comes in. It has many meanings. And I'm happy. I'm happy with how this turned out, because, as you said, there's much to explore, and the binding sort of invites you and also challenges you to interpret it, to find meaning in what you see. And there's a lot of interesting elements. For example, the fact that the ship is sailing on the front cover and it sunk at the back cover was on purpose, because when you first, if it's lying on a table, when you first take it out, you see the front side, and then you turn to see the back side. Oh, that's how it ended. Oh, so there's some storytelling there as well. And that aspect also continues on the inside, because when you open it and remove the pamphlet, you see that behind everything, oh, it's the pound sign, it's money. That's the cause, the root of evil and suffering. And the client, when he received the binding, also made an interesting remark. He said that this box, this case, looks very luxurious, but it also has a deathly aura to it. It's also like a coffin of sorts, and that really ties in with the story behind the South Sea scheme. And I think it's a good example of what I perceive design bindings to be, at least my interpretation of it.
It's interesting. When I saw this cover, I didn't even think that I knew about South Sea scheme before. So the word didn't ring the bell. But then I looked at the photos. I saw the chains. I saw the pound sign. I saw the sinking ship, and it immediately clicked what it was all about. I started to remember all those mad colonial ventures. Well, let's go and conquer an island. Okay, let's go and enslave thousands and thousands of people. We can do that. We are a world power. and you can sort of see your uneasy feelings about it, because of course it was a great adventure, and yet it was morally fraught. But then it wasn't at the time. Not many people talked about it as a bad thing then, and we can sort of appreciate what they did, and also stand on a high moral ground from our point of view.
It's one of the reasons the human rights is not, as you might see, it's part of the title. It's not just an added element. The final letter and of South and no, the final letter of C and scheme are incorporated in human rights because those are intertwined. You know, you can't have such endeavors without causing harm, without questioning what is right and what is not. And as you said, you have to be somewhat uncomfortable looking when you look at this binding. You have to feel a bit strange because what you see has a lot of suffering in there, has a lot of the vices that cause a lot of harm. And you have to be able to translate that into a binding, but still make it a good binding, you know, still make it something that looks beautiful, but conveys, you know, the essence of what happened.
I don't know what to say after that. That is an impressive work on many levels. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.